After playing XDefiant for even a couple of games, I'm sure you've had a few deaths that made you feel like there was nothing you could have possibly done to change the outcome. Whether it's getting chased down by a spider bot, or heading to the objective just to see 3 shields down on the point, there's plenty of frustrating ways to go out in XDefiant. In this video, I'm going to go over ways to counter these sometimes bothersome interactions. And by the end of it, I hope none of you will ever have to suffer a horrible death from this abomination ever again. Welcome to how to counter every faction in XDefiant. Starting us off, I think there's no better way to begin with DedSec. If you couldn't tell by now, I have a vendetta for the damn spider bot, man. Until I found out how to counter this character, I would constantly be dying to either the bot itself or the player following close behind. But now, oh man, I love seeing that damn bot come my way, as with a few tricks, you can turn that bot into a kill in your favor a large majority of the time. I'm sure you know by now, you can shoot the spider while it's on the ground chasing you. But what a lot of people seem to not know yet is how easy it is to destroy even after latching onto you or your teammates. In the chance that the spider does latch onto you, all you have to do is look straight down and shoot. This will almost instantly destroy the drone, and more times than not, the person who threw it will be close to follow, so simply pre-aim where the spider came from and collect your free kill. Also keep in mind that semi-auto weapons and especially snipers are very bad at destroying the bot once it's latched onto you. Another thing about the spider bot that people seem to not know yet is that you can actually shoot the spider off your teammate's face. If you ever see your teammates stunned with electricity coming out of them, try shooting them in the head once or twice if possible. More times than not, you'll destroy the bot for them and help them out of a tricky spot. Listen guys, we can all agree that spider bot is one of the most annoying things in XDefiant, so let's make sure we use these tips so we never have to see a DedSec ever again. Now, we know his ult is an EMP that lasts 1 life, but did you know it also creates a white line under every enemy on the map? Here, take a look. Make sure to be cautious shortly after being EMP'd, as the player who used it will know exactly where you are for a short amount of time. Alright, let's move on to our next faction, and in my opinion, the weakest of the bunch right now, and that's the Cleaners. Now, don't get me wrong, the Cleaners passive might be one of the best in the game, as there's a plethora of guns that benefit greatly from the extra tick damage. But other than that, the Cleaners faction is very lackluster right now, with a terrible ultimate and easily counterable abilities. The first tip, and the most important for countering the Cleaners, is simply staying at range. Everything about the Cleaners faction depends on them being able to get close to their enemies. The firebomb is basically a suicide vest, and honestly, so is the ultimate, as the range on both is unbelievably short. The incendiary drone isn't as bad, but is easily dodgeable, and even the Cleaners passive gives you a 10% decrease in range. So like I said, really nothing fancy to hard counter this guy, just stay as far away as possible. If the other team is filled with Cleaners, close range guns like SMGs and shotguns are probably not your best bet. A faction that plays really well against the Cleaners is Libertad, as the constant healing they receive from their passive allows them to out-heal the burn damage a majority of the time. This is easily the best way to bother Cleaners, as they love nothing more than to get a kill even after losing the fight. Another faction that's great against the Cleaners is the Phantoms. With the extra health, the fire damage the Cleaners do isn't as useful, and the Phantom shields can easily block the firebomber drone. I will say, the Phantoms don't fully counter the Cleaners, as believe it or not, the Phantom's ultimate isn't exactly great against the Cleaners kit. Moving on to Phantoms, like I just said, the Phantom's ultimate isn't great against the Cleaners kit, as if you can sneak into the Phantom's bubble with a firebomb in hands, it's over for them. The drone is also solid against the Phantom's ultimate, as similar to how grenades work with his ult, the fire will linger on the ground for a short period of time, and an unsuspecting Phantoms may just walk straight into it. The next tip is quite obvious, but it'll tie into the next point, and that's not to just challenge the shields with no cover. The shields actually have less health than you think, and with the full AR clip, you can take most of it out. But without cover, you'll be dead before you can say diddy. Instead, use cover and angle yourself to shoot the edge of the shield, then challenge out once they have no more cover. When facing a team with multiple Phantoms, I highly advise switching to EMP grenades for the game, as they can hard counter Phantom shields, making it very frustrating for the Phantom themselves. My last tip when facing Phantoms is taking flank routes, as most of the time, Phantoms will be playing objective with their shields facing forward. Getting behind them will lead to a free kill, or your teammates confirming it if the Phantom goes to the other side of his shield. Alright, moving on to the last 2 factions we have left, we have Echelon and Libertad, and in my opinion, these are easily the best 2 factions in the game currently, with very little counterability at times. But don't worry, I still have some great tips to help you guys out. But before we get into countering Echelon, I want to invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit the like button if this video has helped you out so far. Also, I just want to mention I've been doing daily streams here on YouTube and on Twitch. I'd love to see some of you guys there. Alright, let's get into countering Echelon. And in my opinion, Echelon has the best kit in the game right now, with extremely strong abilities from the top down. So most of these tips are mostly to suppress her, rather than getting her killed. Starting with the first tip, this is going to be ways to counter the Intel Suit, as Intel Suit is probably the best ability in the game right now, as not only does it show the Echelon where you are, but also their teammates, and it shows you on the minimap. I know, busted, right? Right now, the best and really only way to counter this is the Phantom Shields, as the shields will block the character's outlines and oftentimes confuse the Echelon and give them a false sense of security to walk straight into your line of fire. Like I said, right now, this is extremely strong, but as time goes on and we see more factions added, I could see more counters for this. For example, we know Assassin's Creed is coming to XDefiant with smoke grenades. I'd really hope smoke would be a great counter for this, but only time will tell. For now, we're just gonna have to do what we can to counter this extremely strong ability. The rest of Echelon's kit has much more counters, so let's get into that now. Staying on track with their basic abilities, invisibility should be becoming easier and easier for you to spot as the more games you play. But there's also quite a loud sound cue when Echelon enters and exits her invis. I'll play them for you now.
Going dark!
Keep an ear open, as using another sense to spot these guys will make your life a whole lot easier. Finally, we have ways to counter her ultimate, and in my opinion, it's the best one in the game right now. So like I said earlier, we mostly want to suppress her, as killing a good Echelon when they have bold popped is nearly impossible. First off, my favorite is DedSec's ult. If you're playing DedSec, I still hate you by the way. Make sure you're saving your ultimate for the Echelon. The dopamine dump you'll get when you hear enemy use sonar goggles and you just nope them is insane. Try it. I mean, don't. Actually, yeah, don't play DedSec, I beg you. Now that's definitely the best way to counter goggles, but some other solid options you have are obviously the Phantom Shields, as the pistol just won't do enough damage to shoot through it fast enough to get to kill you. And finally, if you're playing with friends, you can communicate a double shot from different angles and try to take him out, but be wary not to miss too many shots, as that pistol will shit on you if you give it the chance. Alright, and last but not least, we have Libertad. And I'll be honest, there's not really many counters to this faction, as her kit revolves around healing, and there's literally nothing you can do to stop that unless she's dead. One thing you can do is destroy your heal canister when it's on the ground. It's got very little health, so it's easy to take out. Just be careful for the person that's sitting on it, obviously. Now, I'm sure you've died to a Libertad running in circles in their ult like a psycho, and felt like that's an impossible kill. But if you come from Apex, just get ready to one-clip, as there are a few guns that can kill her through her ult. You just can't miss. Like, at all. So yeah, be careful with this, but I recommend any SMG, as they can kill the best through the ult. I will say, this is one of the most satisfying kills in the game, as if you've ever played Libertad, you know the feeling of invincibility you have when in ult. And just snatching that away from someone is a really nice feeling. Alright guys, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. I really hope you learned something, and I pray none of you will tragically be attacked by the spider bot ever again. If this video helped you out, make sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new. Also, comment down below what faction you've been playing in XDefiant the most. Thanks for watching, I'll see you next time.